Yes, Jamaica, welcome back to the hot hour where we're going to be talking about housing, sustainable housing developments in this country. Tonight, we're joined by Professor Senator Floyd Morris. Let us welcome tonight, Jamaica, Professor Morris. Great Senator.
Hi, how are you doing, Andrea? Pleasant good evening to you and to your listeners.
Welcome, Senator Morris. It has been long overdue for you to come to P.O.R.T.I.A TV and
Yes,
talk the things that the country wants to hear.
yes.
And
You
you,
have invited me a long time ago,
Mhm.
and I'm just getting the opportunity to. But they say nothing happens before the time, and I want to also just extend greetings to you on
Yes.
behalf of my senator colleague Lambert Brown, who I know is listening.
What is the Senator Morris? You said greetings on behalf of Senator Lambert Brown.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes, yes,
I have a
yes,
duty to deal with some of them, Senator Morris.
yes.
So, can you tell Jamaica just a short history of who Senator Floyd Morris is and how you have risen to your professorial title?
Thank you very much. I was born in a rural community called Baileysville, and I want to big up my sister Faith in Baileysville now, and Elaine, and
Mhm.
also Gladstone Carty, who I know they are avid listeners of yours,
Oh, nice.
and they are listening down there in Baileysville. But I was born to Jamita Price and my father Lloyd Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Port Primary School, passed common entrance, went to St. Mary High. And whilst at St. Mary High, I developed a problem with my eyes called glaucoma.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was unable to complete my academic courses by the time I reached 11th grade. And I
Yes.
got totally blind in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
But in spite of that, I decided that I wasn't going to let the situation alter my progress, and
Yes.
went I came to Kingston in 1991 to
Mm-hmm.
learn to read and write
That
Braille.
was when I was born, 1991. So you came to Kingston 33 years ago.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and I learned to read and write Braille at the Jamaica Society for the Blind.
Yes.
uh, and then restarted my education at Michael Evening College, completed my O and A level subjects within 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
qualified for the University of the West Indies,
Yes.
where I pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Media and Communication.
Communication. Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to do a Master of Philosophy in Government.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1998, PJ Patterson appointed me as a senator, and then in 2001 as a Minister of State,
Yes.
where I served until 2007 under the leadership of Porsche Simpson Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was out of the parliament for a while until 2012.
Yes.
I was reappointed by Porsche as a senator, and in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
she promoted me to the president of the Senate. But
Okay.
once all of this was happening, I restarted my academic journey
Mm-hmm.
by registering for the PhD program at the University of the West Indies, and I completed that in 2017,
Mm.
some 31 years after I graduated from high school without a single academic subject.
Wow.
And 5 years, 7 years after, I met the qualifying mark at the University of the West Indies as a professor, and
Mm.
was promoted to that uh, position in 2024.
My God. So PJ saw a gem in you,
Yes,
and Portia concretized the gem and turned the gem into a diamond.
yes, yes.
So all of these people really honed who you are today as the great senator, the great professor.
Yes.
who is making some serious strides in the nation's parliament and senate.
Yes.
But Mark Golding equally saw more in you than just you being able to speak about labor and social security. Mark Golding said, come here, Senator Professor Morris. I want you to lead the charge on housing and sustainable development. How
Yes.
did that go when Mark Golding spoke to you and say, I want to ask you to take on the housing portfolio?
Well, let me tell you, Andre,
Mm-hmm.
one must recall the antecedents, the historical background of a Mark Golding,
Mm-hmm.
because he was born in a family that has given selfless service to Jamaica. His father
Yes.
came here in the 1950s to fight the polio pandemic and
Mm-hmm.
took on persons with disabilities as
Yes.
his own. And that is why we have the Mona Rehabilitation
Rehab
Center
center. Mm-hmm.
and all Shashai Village and all of those places, the Hope Valley Experimental School, are attributable to the efforts of Sir John Golding, the
Yes.
father of Mark Golding. So Mark grew up around the persons with disabilities and knew of their talents and abilities because he was exposed to people like Sarah Newland Martin, Monica Bartley, etc. You know,
Yes.
and so he knew of their talents.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't a guess for him to make that decision to say, Floyd, I want you to focus now on housing and sustainable living. And I
Yes.
was very happy because it was giving me the opportunity to venture upon new frontiers
Mm-hmm.
and not to be stigmatized as a person with disability that can only focus on disability issues. And so I was very elated and entered up on the reference thereafter.
Wow. So, Senator Morris,
Yes.
there are persons in the media who there are persons in the media who are saying that the PMP has no plans. How do you respond to that tonight? Can you tell them the plan for housing?
Well, I think the leader has rubbished that in the budget presentation, both himself and Julian Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
who offered a plethora of ideas
Mm-hmm.
to deal with the multiplicity of challenges facing Jamaica today. All across the country that I go,
Mm-hmm.
I hear people are saying, yes, the PNP and Marky G is ready for government.
Okay.
And when I express our housing plan in particular,
Mm-hmm.
because, I sit a part of the shadow cabinet
Yes.
and I know of the plethora of ideas, a
Mm-hmm.
whole heap of ideas
So you say
that
apart from what you guys presented last week in St. Anne, there is a lot more to come?
whole heap of things, man. Marky G just take out. When you go to school
Mm-hmm.
and you're playing marbles
Yes.
and you want to just show what you have,
Mm-hmm.
you take out what you call some preps.
Mm-hmm.
The preps that are the pretty marbles. So
Mm.
Marky G just go in and bag and take out some of the preps them
Oh.
and put it on the table.
Uh-huh.
But him have a bag full of preps
Oh.
that we are ready to implement when we form government. And in the housing portfolio, we have articulated through our leader what we will do over the next 5 years when we form government. And
Over the next 5 years, you say that you will be building 50,000 new low income houses. Can
yeah,
you elaborate on that?
well, one of the things that has happened over the past 9 years is that the government has neglected the low income market. Uh,
Oh.
you would know that where NHT is concerned, there are about 600,000 contributors to the NHT, and 48%
Yes.
of those individuals constitute low income earners, meaning that they are earning below $30,000 per week.
Yes.
And the government has been chasing after the middle to upper income band of the market
Yes.
in terms of the price point that it has been entering and selling houses for. You just want to look at Ruthven Towers,
Mm-hmm.
where they have built and sold houses, one bedroom for
40
28
million.
million, and
Mm-hmm.
for the two bedroom, $38 million in Pines of Karachi,
Yeah.
where the PNP sold lots for a range between $500,000 to $950,000 for a lot,
Mm-hmm.
just above Pines of Karachi, where I walk up there every morning.
Yes.
The government, this wholeness-led government,
Mm-hmm.
has sold a single lot for $30 million through the
30
APJ.
million.
30 million. No house.
No
No
house.
house.
That's a lot for 30 million under this oldest administration.
Absolutely. Through the HAJ. $30 million. And then can come try muzzle me and tell me that them are going to sue me. But me know for a fact that that is what those lots
It
have
said
gone for.
HAJ that the Prime Minister's business partner is the chairman.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
30
Absolutely.
million dollar for a piece of plot of land.
Yeah, a plot of land. A plot of land. Right? And we know under Mark G, we
Mm-hmm.
have said that we are going to be building 50,000 houses.
Yes.
And you know what my leader has said to me
Mm-hmm.
in our discussion, we have to make sure that these houses come out at a price point that the ordinary worker is able to afford. And
Mm.
so we took into consideration a number of things,
Yes.
including the culture of Jamaicans,
Yes.
that you give them a start, you give them the land, you give them the housing unit, and after a point, you go back and you're looking for the house that you build, and you can't know say that is the same one that you built because they would have expanded on it and built
Mm.
their mansion. And what mortgages we have decided to do
Yes.
is over the past 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
approximately $150 billion have
Mm.
been extracted from the NHT, to fund the budget, and we understand the circumstances.
Yes.
But what Marky G has said is that, look, we're going to stop the annual extraction of the $11.4 billion,
Yes.
and we're going to give back
Mm-hmm.
to the contributors of NHT
T. Yes.
in the form of land.
Mm-hmm.
So when we build those 50,000 houses,
Yes.
those who are purchasing those units will not pay for the land portion in the final price for houses. So
Oh.
I hear you bigging up the 500,000
Yes.
granting, and that ought to be bigged up, and it's one of our major housing initiatives. But
Mm.
this one is also huge because the people not gonna pay for the land
Oh, the people not
portion.
going to pay for the land.
No.
My God.
and,
But wait,
and
wait,
that-
wait, 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 Senator. So apart from the 500,000, also the people not going to pay for the land on which the house is going to build on in the final pricing.
yes,
No.
absolutely, that is what the Mark Golding led PNP has committed to, and it is going to result in a reduction of between 2.5 to $3 million in
My
the
God.
housing costs. Significant, significant. That is what a caring leader in Mark Jefferson Golding has put to Jamaica. So all those who are saying that, them don't hear of
Yes.
any major housing initiative must probably break some stick in them ears,
Mm.
and don't want to hear what the leader of the opposition has said.
Whoa. This is mind blowing. So apart from getting the 500,000,
Mhm.
equally, Senator Morris, you're telling the people today that the land, they're not going to be paying for the land. The land will be deducted from the final pricing of the
Yes.
housing unit.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have already started identifying
Those
lands across this country that will be using to build out these houses.
so,
We
so
are not
wait.
waiting.
So are you saying that is a Michael Manley approach you are taking towards housing?
Absolutely, because that is the instruction that Mark G has given to me, and I have to enter up on the reference to make sure that I follow the directives of the leader. I can't be fired from a job before I started to do. So
Oh,
I
mm.
have to work with the leader and what the leader has directed me to do. You know, and so we are identifying lands across this country that are non-agricultural land to build out these 50,000 houses. And we are making good progress on that. We have already started a design of the units, and in time, we are going to be displaying what the unit will look
Look
like
like.
to the Jamaican people. But, we are going to be giving them a unit that they can expand, and they will have sufficient land space to have, a nice yard and so forth.
It's not going to look like a matches box.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And people can expand on that over time.
Senator Morris, what would you say? Because Holness promised the people in 2020 that he's going to develop 70,000 units. To date, he has not done. Let me even go back. In 2016, he said he would have developed 100,000 houses. Then in 2020, he changed it to 70,000. But for that 9 years, Senator Morris, he has only built about 14,000 something houses.
Yes.
How then is Mark Golding going to be able to keep to his promise that he'll deliver the 50,000 units?
A very good question, a very good and fair question. And that is where we are going to be using modern technology in terms of building out these houses on a very fast and expeditious basis. And a critical uh, factor in building out these units is the availability of funds,
Yes.
so that you don't end up in a situation where you're owing contractors and slowing down the process. And so we are working on a mechanism that will allow us to have a dedicated pool of funds that's going to be focused on building out these 50,000 houses over the 5-year period. And it's estimated that we're going to be carrying about 10,000 units to the market on an annual basis.
So, Senator Morris, are you saying that the contractor is not being paid by this government?
Well, I have heard the complaints of contractors across the country where they have done work for the government, and the time it takes for them to be paid and for them to honor their commitments and obligations to workers. And that end up slowing down the process. And I mean, again, I point back to the development of modern technology to drive the construction of these units. When you look at places like Colombia, you look at places like Australia, even in South Africa, in Singapore, you see what they have done in
Yes.
terms of bringing to market houses on a very fast basis,
Yes.
And they have used it with form to build out the units. They are standardized, and they'll build and they'll move on. Within days, you can get a unit up and just move on. And we are going to be making sure that we work with the contractors in terms of using that technology to drive their housing construction
You
across the country.
awesomeness. So you're therefore saying you're going to have a stronger and better relationship with the contractors.
Absolutely. And we have started that already, because we're doing a lot of preparatory work,
Oh,
because we are treating ourselves as a government in waiting.
Mm.
So you have to prepare so that from day one, you
Yes.
don't go into an office sitting and waiting to be instructed or directed by technocrats. You are going to ministries to listen to where they are at,
Mm.
and then infuse the initiatives that the people would have endorsed.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people vote out a government,
Yes.
it is the expectation that they are going to be implementing programs and policies that will redound to their benefits. So the
Mm-hmm.
people are expecting to see change, or the process of change starting from when the leader, the new prime minister, becomes government.
So you're
So
saying that you're taking a proactive approach.
absolutely,
My God.
absolutely.
Can you explain what is the Porsche initiative, Senator Morris? I know that Porsche Simpson Miller is dear to you.
Yes,
And I hear you have crafted an initiative called the Porsche Initiative. Can you
right.
explain to Jamaica tonight and to
Yes.
the naysayers what the Porsche Initiative is?
Well, I mean, Porsche is near and dear to all of us in the People's National Party, and also to the leader of the party now, because it was Porsche who appointed him as a senator in 2007. And,
And
he
Minister
has
of
grown.
Justice.
He
Mm,
has grown into the position.
mm-hmm.
And so we have crafted an initiative that is going to replace the old Operation Pride scheme.
Yes.
And we call it the Program for the Orderly Renewal and Transformation of Infrastructure in All Areas. And it forms the acronym Porsche.
Repeat the
And
name. Repeat the
the
program.
Program for the Orderly Renewal
Mm-hmm.
and Transformation of Infrastructure in All Areas.
Mm,
Porsche.
for all.
And and what we will be doing
Mm-hmm.
is to complete all of those Operation Pride schemes
Yes.
that were not completed, and
Mm-hmm.
this administration has not done anything to advance them, because their intent is to abandon anything that the PNP started. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna be completing those, and I understand that there are about 47 Operation Pride developments across the country that were at advanced stages, and we are going to be completing those in
Yes.
terms of the infrastructure, and making sure that the people get the title for the
Mm.
lands that they are living on.
So you're
And then
talking about a massive land titling across Jamaica.
absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I've been told that when we left in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
there was over 70,000 land titles that were ready or being prepared for distribution to people across the country. And I mean, we don't know where
Those
they
land
are
titles are.
with that, but we are committed to completing those, and
Mm,
we are going to be tearing down zinc fences across the country and putting up concrete walls or chain link fences
mm.
to improve the aesthetics of communities and lift the dignity of the people. We are
Yes.
going to be making sure that we improve the sidewalks
Mm-hmm.
across the country, so that senior citizens and persons with disabilities and baby mothers and people who are joggers, or walkers,
Yes.
can walk with ease in their communities
Mm-hmm.
on a day-to-day basis. And all of that will be done through the Porsche initiative.
So Porsche Initiative going to focus on finalizing land titles for those 47 Operation Pride developments.
That is going to be a part of the effort.
The initiative will also tear down zinc fences and put up those structures needed to improve the aesthetics of those communities.
Absolutely.
Talking about improving the sidewalks,
Right.
for persons with disabilities and the elders. Interesting.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
equally, I heard
And I must tell you,
Mhm.
Andre, that one of the interconnectivity in terms of our policy approaches that
Yes.
we are adopting
Mm-hmm.
is how we gonna fund it. And we have discussed with the leader that the 50,000 houses that we will be selling, we are
Mm-hmm.
going to be making a profit from those houses.
Mm.
And a part of the proceeds from those
Will be used to fund the
will
Porsche.
be used to fund the Porsche initiative.
All right, we're not getting into that because you know that many of them are copycats, And you
Yes,
remember that he said, "Oh, you plan to fund it. Tell me how you plan to fund it, and I will do it, and you don't have to change government." So
absolutely.
we will not get into those details tonight.
Yes,
But
yes.
I gather that between yourself and Alfred Dawes has developed equally a plan for 5,000 housing structures for our doctors and nurses. Can
Mhm.
you talk a little bit about that tonight?
Well, definitely what we are going to be doing
Mm-hmm.
when we roll out these 50,000 houses, we are going to be targeting different groups. Uh,
Yes.
you know, the health professionals being one of them. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
have plans for the teachers as well. We have plans for the police as well. And then, we have the
Plan
rent to
for this.
buy
So,
initiative
yes.
that is going to target informal functionaries in the economy. But Alfred Dawes has ventured upon the referent, like Damian Crawford as well, come
Mm-hmm.
to me and said that, look, you have to make sure that something is in it for the young people,
Yes.
for the
Young professional.
health professionals
Mm-hmm.
and the teachers across this country. And we have also had discussion with Senator Gabriela Morris,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for the young people. And that is why you see we coming up with these ideas that are going to be impacting on these different
So
groupings.
you're saying your housing project is very targeted and it is very focused on the kind of persons who you're really looking out for as to who you want to get houses in this country.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and it cuts across the demographics, because it
Mm.
caters for the farmers as well, because
Farmers.
we tell people that the rent to buy initiative
Mm-hmm.
is for those individuals who
Yes.
don't get a monthly pay slip,
Mm-hmm.
but they earn an income from the job that they are in.
So the
And
rent own is seriously considering for young entrepreneurs and persons who have businesses on their own, small
people,
businesses, macro,
people like
small.
that,
Mm.
I mean, the household helpers, a taxi driver
The
can
barber.
rent one of those those housing units,
Mm-hmm.
and when they rent it, and we see how they are able to pay over a period of time, probably 6 months, probably 8 months.
And not
We say,
IRA.
all right, we will convert this rent now into a mortgage. So
Oh,
we're giving them the opportunity to be a part of the ownership
shit.
society
Mm-hmm.
that the Mark Golding led PNP is going to be pushing, so
Mm-hmm.
that they can own their own homes by paying mortgage, because we believe in the PNP that it is better
Mm-hmm.
for a man to own his own key. Because when you own your key,
Yes.
when you own your key, I mean, it's your house.
Mm-hmm.
When you parent, when you
Mm-hmm.
parent, it's you're borrowing somebody's key.
Aria Barrow. Mm.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
Jamaica.
and come back.
Courtney, don't. Senator Morris, it's an interesting time. What is happening at Belmont Road tonight? As we speak, in Jamaica, there is an interesting development happening at Belmont Road. a messy affair. Messy affair. But I will not derail this interview until Senator Morris leaves. Jamaica. Come here again, Courtney. Look here. Jamaica, I will soon give you all of that detail when Senator Morris leaves. Courtney is my confidant who is seeing everything. Come here, Courtney. Just a second, Senator Morris. Just a second. Look here, Courtney. You see that, right?
Clearly.
I will say to that goodly senator who is over here, go and cool the flames at Belmont Road. Go and cool the flames at Belmont Road.
What to the interview teacher?
I'm telling you, Jamaica, bangarang go on over there. But Senator Morris, let us go back into what is happening now. So you talk about the rent to own. I want you to tell me about the social housing project that the Prime Minister walking around giving away a one house and talk about his good program. Talk to me tonight about the social housing project.
Well, first and foremost, Andre, you know, social housing is not an invention or creation of Andrew Holness. If you notice, he has put the word new before it.
Yes.
You know, and when you're doing marketing and you're doing product differentiation, you come up with these terms, you know, to make it look different. But social housing has been around for many years, right? And it is fair that, you know, the some of the houses look very good and impressive, you know, but he has articulated that there is a demand for 8,000 houses across social houses across Jamaica.
Yes.
And he has reported to Parliament that, and this is, I'm seeing the data saying 280 has been built up to date. And when I do my mathematical calculation, it would take well, it's averaging about 40 units per annum, thereabout, which means for us to get up to 8,000 units, it's another 200 years that we will it will take to
200 years.
build
200
those
years.
200 years. And by that time, my Jesus would have returned and take me home to live in the mansion that he has been building for us, you know. So I wouldn't need the social houses from the prime minister. So, you know, I am very much concerned about that sort of approach. When I heard an interview with him today saying that there is an urgency to deal with the situation because a lot of people across the country are suffering and experiencing difficulties
My
in
God.
you know, so you know, it is a very ineffective uh, uh, approach, and we are currently working out how we are going to be treating that situation, and we will make the announcement at the right time, because
So you're
my
saying that
leader,
you plan to review the social housing project?
oh, definitely we will be reviewing it. We will be reviewing all aspects of it,
Mm-hmm.
um, including the approach that is being adopted by the government, where people build on their own land, and when they build on their own
Mm.
land, they cannot sell the house, or pass it on to
Their
a
children.
family member down the road.
Mm.
you know. So I don't know how the government has come about with that approach, as articulated by the Minister of Local Government.
Mm.
But we will be reviewing all aspects of the social housing program, and we will make further announcements before the election is called, because our leader has been very clear in terms of how we go about releasing information, because we see now that everything is happening as we announce. The government try to do what we say we are going to do.
My God. My God. So you are saying the blueprint for housing is through the PNP?
Well, without a doubt. I mean, it, uh, in the 1950s,
Mm-hmm.
the first set of integrated housing development in Jamaica, housing schemes, came under the Norman Manley administration. That was during the time when Hope Pastures, Mona, and
Yes.
Aberview was built.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see what has happened in the 1970s with the establishment of the NHT, that
Mm-hmm.
has changed the housing landscape
Yes.
in Jamaica.
Mm.
And then in the 1990s, with the advent of Operation Pride,
Yes.
you know, I I went to a community called Bel Air in Northwest St. Anne, and the young man who I was there with
Mm-hmm.
was showing me how, as a teacher,
Yes.
he was able to secure a nice house.
Mm.
House, you know, have about, add on to it now, have about 5 bedrooms and about 4 bathrooms, and
Yes.
I mean, that was an Operation Pride development. And
Mm.
right in the pines of Karachi, of which I reside, these units were built uh, by individuals, but the lots were sold um, at a reasonable rate
Great. Yes.
to the individuals, and they are built, and the value of these properties have increased exponentially over the years. That is what a PNP administration has been doing in terms of housing across this country, because we treat housing
Yes.
and shelter as a right to our citizens, and we are going to be doing everything possible to make sure that we preserve that legacy
Mm.
that started by Norman Manley, continued with Michael Manley and P.J. Patterson and Porsche Miller. And I can tell Jamaicans
Mm.
that Mark Jefferson Goldie is going to do them proud when it comes on to housing in Jamaica.
Jamaica. I'm happy that Senator Floyd Morris spoke tonight on the Rent to Own initiative. He spoke on the Porsche initiative. He spoke about the 500,000 coupled with you getting the land free from the final sale of the house. He spoke about the 50,000, 10,000 houses per year for the next 5 years. I don't want to ask him anything more about, and he has also committed to continuing the distribution of land titles across Jamaica. I think we're appreciative, Senator Morris, of you talking all of these things tonight. I'm not keeping you long because I need you back here. I don't want you to talk everything right now.
Yes, yes, yes. And I have to come back
Mm-hmm.
another time with my colleague Denise Daly to talk to you
Mm-hmm.
about the announcements that Mark Golding has made for the community of persons with disabilities
Disabilities,
in the establishment of the National Disability Fund.
the National Disability Fund.
Yes,
Interesting. So, mothers or parents who have children with disabilities or persons living with disability, there'll be a National Disability Fund.
absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
something we will have to talk about very soon and in short order. But thank
All
you
right.
for coming tonight, Senator Morris. And tell Senator Lambert Brown, just leave them to Andre Stevens.
Atio,
And,
atio,
and I will do my part.
atio,
All
atio.
right. Thank
All
you.
right. Bless up yourself
Mhm.
and God bless your program.
All right. God bless you now.